you think of Jordan yesterday in contrast to a couple weeks ago?
I'll tell you, especially coming off of that little bit of an injury that he had, I thought he did a really good job. I think that he had a couple of those errors that you just want to take out of his game when people were running right at him. And, that's the first time you get to see how somebody's going to react, how he's going to react. So I think that that's good for him to put that in his memory bank so that he can just take care of the football, and then those drives are going to be even better. But I thought he strung together a couple really good drives and versus a really good defense at their house. So I think, it was good. It was really good, and he's just going to keep getting better.
With Daniels, obviously, you guys put a lot of resources into, getting him where he is now. The role switches obviously now with him going to 2. How do you still make sure, though, that A, he prepares as the 2, but also continues the development? Or is that just one and the same?
Well, that's always one of those tricky things because he's always going to have to prepare like a starter, any backup, to be able to go in there at the moment's notice. So that's really starts in the meeting room. So that's the mental aspect of it that can never stop for him, from our game plans, how we game plan, what we're trying to attack, what we're trying to do. And then the speed and timing of it is that he's got to take, those opportunities to be able to lead the scout team going full speed against our very good defense. So I think that those are the ways that you can get that up-tempo, quick, decision making. Even though it might not be what we're doing, you have to put yourself in that mindset of if that was our play. So I think that that's just going to be his process now as we move forward.
Has his confidence been the same the entire time you've known him, or have you seen it grow as he's obviously made improvements, or what's his personality in that regard?
I would say it's grown, but he's pretty even keeled. He just every day, not too high, not too low. He's the same guy, and I really appreciate that about him. But you can see, when he starts doing some good things, he starts feeling a little saucy every now and then. So, but I'll tell you, it's just about continuing learning and growing. Year 2, he's had just these past 2 games in preseason, so there's so much more room to grow for him.
What's this key to incorporating so many ingredients in your offense? Even Hill shows up, makes plays, Daphne makes plays. You've got to try and find ways to get, not only those guys, but all your regulars kind of involved in an offense. What's the secret to getting them all involved or at least utilizing them?
I'll tell you, I think it's such a great question to ask, and it's a great thing that we have to ask ourselves every week, is to be able to get more people involved. I think we believe as an offensive staff, we want the defense staff to cover everyone. We want them to have to cover the whole field. The more people that you have out there, it causes some issues, because if you think that you can just have the whole thing run through one guy, that makes it easy for a defense to try to stop. So it's about protecting everybody and making everybody a viable threat. So I think the more people that we just have to be sure that we're willing to get the ball to everybody. And those are just ways that we'll have to be creative. It allows you to be more creative because you have different people that do different things. And then you have people that can do a lot of the same things. So it could kind of come from every direction. So I think that's one thing one reason why we think that we're going to have a pretty good oath this year.
Begelton and Taylor, obviously this is like their Super Bowl essentially. You knew they were both fighting they knew what was at stake, and they went out there and did what they did, caught the ball, Wink had a great catch. What does it say about those two with the pressure of a Super Bowl for them that they could do what they did?
Those guys have had a really good training camp. They've both gotten a lot better, and whatever happens is going to happen. But it's just awesome working with those guys and watching them get better. And then rise to those occasions. That's all you can do. It's an audition for everybody, for our team, for all the teams across the league, and whatever happens, I hope we get everybody. You don't want anybody to ever leave, and so it's one of those things. I'm really happy for them.
So where do you think your number one offense is right now? Like on Thursday, Aaron was lighting up everybody, but then the 2-minute drill happened, and it's kind of like every other 2-minute drill this summer, where you guys kind of just fizzled out. So where do you think you are here with a couple weeks to go?
You're never going to know until the game officially. Practice is practice. Sometimes we blow a sack, and you never know if he would have gotten out of it. Sometimes there's little things that happen throughout the practice, whether it be 2-minute or a regular just practice drill. You just never know until the real game. I think from a standpoint of what how the guys know what we want to accomplish and what we're trying to do, I think the guys are at a very, very high level. This is the third year of this system. I think it's a lot more fun when you're not thinking about the plays and now you're kind of drawing some things up, trying to be even more creative. The guys are into it a little bit more to be a little creative. So I think that just makes it more exciting. So I really like where we're at. And it's still a process throughout the whole season, though. You know, you start early in this coming month, and then it's, 17 games. So the idea is to keep it fresh, keep those guys rolling, and really be able to peak later on in the season. So we're just going to keep rolling and getting better.
Did you like having the opportunity the last couple of games to get A.J. Dillon kind of going a little bit with the ground game? I know he didn't play a lot, but, you got
Yeah, I
some
mean,
snaps in these last 2 games.
The preseason is one of those risk-reward things. I mean, it's one of those things, of course, you want everybody to get as much experience and feel really good about, starting the season. But at the same time, it doesn't count. I mean, it's the game. If you win it or lose it, it doesn't matter. So I think that for AJ, I think to get a couple hits, I think that was good for him. I'm glad got him out of there and get ready for this first coming game. But yeah, sure, it was good for anybody that was out there.
Has your role in cut day changed over your years in Green Bay? And then also, that being said, when you were in Jacksonville and Buffalo, was it different as far as how much you kind of factor in on Tuesday as well?
I think every place is much different. Everybody has a different philosophy on how they do it. And we have our way here, and we'll see what happens on Tuesday.
Did anything last night surprise you? Any players that you thought kind of had sealed their fate, maybe someone overachieved last night at the last second?
I think a lot of guys did a fine job. I mean, I really do. It's one of those things, you evaluate it. I try to look at it as a whole group, and I thought those guys all really came together well and communicated. There were a couple times that they were in some unique predicaments, whether it be a long down and distance or some penalties and things like that, and even some adjustments that they made on defense that we had to do. So that was great to see. And just, all the guys, it's been awesome working with everybody. And, you want to keep everybody. We've invested a lot of time with all the guys and want them all here.
Daniel, where have you seen Josh Myers make the biggest strides from the beginning of camp till now?
I still remember that first time that Aaron Rodgers went underneath there to take a snap, and just watching him and how he reacted to that. But, I just think he's definitely getting comfortable in the system. He is a young player, and he's going to have a lot of growing pains. I mean, anytime you have a rookie, especially at that position, the amount of stuff that he's going to see throughout this season. But the good thing about Josh is, it's not too big for him. So I think that he's going to really embrace the challenge, and he owns it, and he's a passionate guy. And but just kind of him being comfortable with Aaron is something that I think has gotten better. Aaron gets on him every now and then, like he gets on everyone. And I think, that first one's kind of a shock to the face for anybody. And but I think that that's kind of one thing that he's grown is he takes that information and the things that he gains from Aaron, and he makes him more comfortable and more confident. So and it's just, like I said, it's just going to have to continue on throughout the whole season.
So how do you handle those growing pains when you have presumably a rookie starting right guard as well, and who knows at left guard, maybe first time starter there too? That seems like a lot of potential growing pains.
It's one of those things that happens in the NFL. You want to get the best guys out there, and we don't know who it's going to be up to this point right now. But it's just those things that we have to plan as coaches to be able to protect those guys and protect as many people as we can.
Matt says he does know. Did he just not tell you? He wouldn't tell us, but I would think
I like to feel as though we all kind of have a good idea, but across the board. I think we always have a good idea about it, but, nothing's really official until we get to that game. I mean, so many things can happen every day.
On Thursday, it was early in practice. Aaron rolled out left and threw it right to Marquez for the big gain, and you and him celebrated like crazy. He got into it the other day about that came up in the quarterback's room. Can you take us through that process of how maybe a play like that comes about?
Yeah, we have a lot of fun in there, and I think going into this third year, just kind of the communication, the dialogue, the way that we put everything together is really fun, because it's, hey, you present something, and then Aaron goes, hey, maybe we do this, or we can add to that, and so we just kind of build on these plays, and I think that was one of those things that we kind of started from kind of our foundation of what we do, and then we kind of added a couple other wrinkles, and then all of a sudden we're like, hey, maybe, we look at each other, maybe this will work. I mean, I have no clue. We've kind of seen it happen before, but let's make it rain, this will be fun. And it was just so funny for Aaron and I and all the guys, Getsy, all of us were just like, oh my God, it's open. And then the fact that he was able to set his feet and whip it where he did, I mean, it was just awesome. So it was just kind of cool to see something like that, happen and come together. And it's a multiple insights on getting to that spot of that play. And I think that was really cool to see. That's what you want. That's what you want throughout the season. You want to be able to have that creativity and build off of that, have other people have other ideas, and that's where the creativity grows. And that's kind of what happened there.
So often does that happen? How often you roll out a new play in practice? Is it like a daily thing, a weekly thing, just kind of on average?
I mean, I think usually when you go into training camp, there's a foundation that you're trying to build. The idea is to get a foundation and then be able to build off that foundation once it's all in. So once it's all in, we've got everything solidified, we've practiced it, we're feeling our foundation. Now we can start making those adjustments. That's kind of how game planning is when you look at the game plan, you have your foundation, you make those wrinkles off of what you're going to be facing and how you want to attack them. So I think that throughout, the whole training camp, we slowly started trying to get more and more creative versus the defense that we were facing every day, because, it's the same stuff over and over and over again, that you want to now, okay, let's spice it up somehow. Let's change some of our basic rules and see if we can attack with somebody else or with something that we never have before. And that was what we did on that one.
You're a player's coach, obviously, players seem to love you, and, the idea of the anxiety that they might have this time, like going home, even sitting at home. Do you give them a piece of advice that, that you've seen just kind of, ease their mind, get them ready for what's going to come?
It's a hard time. It really is. And I think that throughout our time with those guys being here, with me, with the other coaches, I think that they truly know that we want what's best for them. They come into this building, we want to do everything we can to make them be the best version of themselves, be the best player. And I think that there's only certain things that you can control, though. And so you have to look at that and understand that's how it is and be confident that you got better. And as a coach, we want them to feel that from us and know that we love them. And I mean, we spent a lot of time with these guys and invested a lot, like I said, and it sucks, but it's part of the business. And let them know, hey, control what you can control and get ready. Who knows what can happen? You might be in there.
Two more in here.
How much more complete of a receiver do you think Quez is? Maybe it's unfair to just label him a deep threat the past couple of years, but how have you seen kind of his repertoire evolve this camp?
So, MVS is, he's had a very good camp. All those guys have, Allen and Devontae, obviously, and having Randall come in here. MVS, as we know, has been that deep threat. He's been the guy that goes down the field because he can flat out go. I mean, he can run. And a lot of people know that. And I think for him, his precision route running has improved dramatically. And those are those things on those first level. So, when he walks out there and you've got Devontae on the other side or Allen on the other side, when he walks out there, you have to make a decision from the standpoint of a defense, what you're going to do. And if they're afraid of him as a deep threat, they'll play some certain defenses that give him those more precision routes. So now the fact that you got to make that decision now, are you going to take away the precision? Are you going to take away the deep? Oh, you've got Tay over there. So I think him improving that world of his routes has been really exciting for us. And we're excited to see the things that we can do with him now that just add to his repertoire.